if I saw another day, only to scream into the night. Nothing ever tries to change, even if I want to realize. 'Cause I've been sitting here, same old ways, thinking up about the same mistake. Darling, when you go away, it won't be as simple for you.
Yo, guys. It is RDS here, back again with another match preview. I'm joined by the lovely Yannicka. Yannicka, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. And yeah, guys, we're going to be doing the preview. I see you guys from the chat, Eddie and Niall. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio, plus on Twitter United at United90X, yada yada yada. You know the score by now. So let's just get straight into it. Jan. Well, actually, before we get into the preview, actually, the big news obviously is Chelsea FC. Big Roman Abramovich is selling Chelsea Football Club. What are your thoughts on the whole situation, and what do you see as the future for Chelsea Football Club?
I mean, when I saw all the whole Russia thing and how they were saying they were going to limit Russian business and stuff like that, I did think, how is that going to affect Chelsea? Because, you know, we as City fans get a lot of heat because of our owners, and they're not even at war. Like, their country's not at war. So, yeah, I knew it would affect Chelsea. I didn't think he'd sell it. I thought he'd do what he initially did, which is sort of hand it over. You know how sometimes they'll sell it to like a friend or something, and then they'll just buy it back at the same price or whatever, or maybe a little bit of profit. I thought he'd do something like that. I didn't think he would actually get rid of it, but I think he's realised if he doesn't get rid of it, they could just seize it and then he loses it anyway. So he might as well take his money and go.
Also, part of me thinks that maybe because he seemed to make the decision after he went, because I think there was talks that he was there involved in the peace talks potentially. So it's almost like a part of me felt like he made that decision after that, almost to think this situation is not going to be. This is probably going to be an ongoing situation with the ongoing conflicts. So yeah, as you said, I'm going to have to cut my losses and sell now. Otherwise, it's just going to get worse. You know. So where do you think that this leaves Chelsea Football Club and then them going forward?
I don't know. Like, obviously, it depends who buys them. They're going to have to be wealthy because it's going to be 3 billion or whatever it is. So they're going to have to be wealthy owners. There's only really 3 kind of owners that you get. You get an American owner who we know more often than not, they usually run quite badly. They're usually more profit than success. So, you know, as long as United make money, they don't really care if you got relegated. As long as the money's high, that's just the way it is.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah. Then you've got the Arab owners. The Arab owners are more, they're less, I don't even want to say less interested in the football, because actually the American owners don't tend to be that interested in the football. I'd say with the Arab owners, because they're a bit of a show off, they want trophies so they can say, look at my trophies. So they're kind of more about success than money, because they don't need the money. They just want the success. So they're kind of the opposite to the American owners. And then you've got obviously another type of owner, which is people like Chelsea, you know. So yeah, I don't know. Like, it just depends what they end up with. I do think in terms of Chelsea, the actual club, it could be a bit of a positive for them, because I think the way they're run at the moment, they sack managers a lot. Whereas I think if they give Tuchel time and his own team, I actually think he could be a really good manager. So I think this probably stops him getting sacked. Because if he didn't win anything this season, you you know, he would have got sacked by Chelsea because they would have seen it as, okay, you won the European Cups, but you're expected to win them when you're the champions of Europe. That's just the way it is. So I think they would say, you didn't win the league, you didn't win the Champions League, you didn't win the Carabao Cup, you didn't win the FA Cup, you're sacked, you know. Whereas I think now this new owner will give Tuchel the time. I think he'll look at Pep and Klopp and he'll probably think, or she, whoever buys it, they'll probably think, why don't we try and do what City are doing? Why don't we try and do what Liverpool are doing? And I think it could probably long-term work out in their favour, but obviously there is the chance that they get bought by a bad owner and it goes pear-shaped. So, yeah, I think in terms of Tuchel, it's good news, but we don't know yet for the club and the fans, really.
I mean, this is the thing, as you said, a lot of it comes to because Chelsea fans obviously have been spoiled with having a owner who predominantly cares about football. You know, it's not really about the profit, because I think I think in his report it mentioned about the fact that he wasn't interested in getting paid back because Chelsea owe him I think 1.5 billion or something like that. So he's written it off, and fair play to him. But it is interesting because you're now going from a situation where, depending on the owner, and to be honest, there are not that many owners that are going to be spending 200 million pounds every summer on transfers. So you're going from that to, we might actually have to, we might only have 100 million budget. We might have to consider trying to make this sort of a business. And I'm just curious. I don't know whether the Chelsea fans are really prepared for that, where they're like, oh yeah, Haaland looks good. Yeah, Chelsea in for Haaland, to be like, actually, no, we might not actually be in for them, as if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
I think there's no way of knowing. I think Roman was kind of like you say, he was in the middle, so he wasn't that bothered about profit like the Arabs, but then he cares more about football. You know, so he was the perfect owner from a Chelsea fan's point of view. But I think the club, I don't know. I think City are quite well run in the way, especially nowadays. Not so much a few years back when we were buying a lot of players, but I think now they're run quite well. Liverpool are run well, considering their resources. So I think Chelsea might try and kind of go down that road. You know, keep your manager. Don't be paying off your manager millions and millions of pounds to get a new one in, to then have to pay him off. Just keep Tuchel till the end of his contract. See what he does in that time. If he deserves a new one, extend it. If he doesn't, let him go. And I think that's what they'll do. I think they have to. If they look at the league and how it is, I think sacking managers at the moment, it works for what Chelsea want to do. But I don't know, under a different owner, whether they'd be happy with that. Because they seem to be a bit more of a cup team at the moment than they do domestic. So, yeah, we'll see anyway.
It is one for watch this space, but I definitely think it makes it interesting, especially now that Newcastle have obviously entered the frame with their new owners and the money that they're spending. You know, some people are saying, you know, depending on how it goes, Newcastle in a few years could end up replacing Chelsea, given the investment that they're in. So it is going to be an interesting 3 or 4, I think, next couple of years, I think. And, but we're not going to talk about Manchester United and then Manchester security. Shout out to Mohammed Mr. Kamal says, hi, yeah, my favorite City fan. Devil United, shout out to Devils United. Thank you, Maisie. Hope you're doing well and subscribe to our channel. And then he says, Chelsea will get someone like Jeff Bezos who will piss transfer money away in a space. Please happen. I mean, the thing is, I think what people understand is, even if they do get Jeff Bezos, they're not going to run it like like Roman did, where he didn't mind losing hundreds of millions of pounds every year. Any businessman, because Roman's not really a businessman. He was more of an oligarch, which is but an actual businessman, they're gonna run it like a business. You know, that's what people need to expect. But enough about Chelsea. United versus City. We were obviously talking a bit before. What's your expectation going into this? Because you were telling me that you actually think that City are going to beat United and it's going to be 3-0. and glory, glory, Manchester City, and the treble is still on, and that's what's going to happen. That's what you were saying, Jan, if I recall.
Of course, nah. I actually think City are shocking at the moment. Like, don't get me wrong, we've won our last 2 games, but yeah, it's not a good performance in either. Peterborough, I didn't watch the first 60 minutes because I forgot we were playing. When I turned it on, we scored 2 goals and then we won the game. But apparently we weren't good in the first 50 minutes or whatever I missed. The Everton game was horrendous. One of the worst performances I've seen from us.
Was that okay? Before you come, was that a penalty or not?
So that is a handball, right?
Okay.
It is a handball.
Okay.
But the VAR and the rest are just shit. But the thing is, it like Pep says. Pep actually said, if it's offside, it's offside. If it's not offside, it's a penalty. So that's the only argument you could have. The offside. Okay. I don't know with VAR what they decided. It hit his arm, it hit here, and then they're showing the green goes down to there. But 1 minute you get a handball for up here. So I really don't even know what the handball is anymore, to be honest. To even judge what it is, I don't know. Like, it's different every week. But yeah, it did look like a penalty. What annoyed me is it's not like a penalty where they're through on goal and you put your arm out. They weren't even attacking at that time. Like, they weren't gonna score from there. So I don't know why Rodri did what he did to make that decision, to make them have that decision to make, because that wasn't a goal scoring opportunity that he stopped. He had enough space to go and deal with that ball. So I wasn't impressed. The Spurs game was terrible, but I actually think we were better in the Spurs game than we were against Everton. So we've not been good recently. If we play like that tomorrow, we will not win that game. We will not win it. I assume that they're going to be up for a derby. The weird thing about City is normally in a title race, we look like we're really fighting for the title. Maybe because we've usually chasing, I don't know. But we just look like we don't really care. Like against Everton, it just looked like they weren't that bothered whether they won or not. So it worries me a little bit because I don't think City. I feel like because there's so much pressure to win the Champions League, maybe their heads been turned, because in the Champions League we were very good against Sporting. We were very, very good. And then we play in the Prem and we don't look that bothered. So maybe the players are like, okay, we've won the league enough time. We need to go and win the Champions League. And maybe their heads have been turned. But either way, as my football club and as a professional team who are champions currently, I would expect them to turn up and win this title race, or at least fight till the end. And I think if we lose tomorrow, obviously we pretty much go on the same points. It's not over because we could still beat Liverpool at the Etihad, and then we go 3 points clear again, and doesn't really matter as long as we match their results. But I don't want to see City just give up this league title without a fight. I don't want to see that. And I feel like that game against Everton, I was thinking they don't look like a team that wants to win the league. Like Liverpool look like they want to win the league. City don't.
Yeah, it worries me.
Yeah, it worries me a bit.
Liverpool winning the league is because it wasn't even thought.
It's actually worse for us because with us, even though we would have lost the league, which is not great, we are champions right now. So it's like we didn't go back to back, which is, and we're not matched on league titles with them. So like we're nowhere near 19. Whereas if they win this, they go on 20. Like we're not at 10 yet. So it's a little bit.
And the thing is that they weren't even like it. I thought they weren't even in it. And then suddenly they now are. And it's like, wait a minute, what just happened?
When you've got games in hand, because this happened in the 13-14 season where it looked like City weren't in it. And then all of a sudden we had 2 games in hand and we won our games in hand, and then they drew and then they lost. And then it was like next minute we won the league. So it can happen. I think City, people were saying City were 12 points clear, but they had 3 games in hand. So it wasn't 2 games in hand, I think. So we dropped like since October when we lost to Crystal Palace, we've only dropped 5 points. It's not actually that many. but it
No,
feels like a lot because of how close the title race is.
this has
But
been
we've not
exactly.
actually, because this is what I was saying, like, I would expect Man City to win the league because throughout the whole season, you know, we haven't actually dropped that many points. So it's just about winning, going on a bit of a winning run. But the way City are playing at the moment, I just don't see it. And that's the problem, because I don't see us, even if we beat Man United, I don't see us going and beating Crystal Palace convincingly. And it's just one of them. And you know what United will do? They'll beat City and then lose their next game.
Of
And it'll
course.
be completely irrelevant that you won the derby.
Of course.
I don't know.
It's happened so many times that like it's the
Well,
point where like I wouldn't be surprised. I still think we'll
yeah,
lose.
now
I wouldn't be surprised if we won because you're right.
Yeah.
The only thing is that it's is that United have like a bunch of difficult games. And so what tends to happen is that we get a good result against City, against Arsenal, against Chelsea, against Spurs, and then suddenly like, oh, United are back. And then we end up losing to Watford. It's like,
no.
it's inconsistent.
I feel like this season's been a very strange season though. Because like even us, like we've not particularly looked great. We had a good 12 games in a row where we won every game and we looked good in that time. But even then there was games like the Arsenal game where we were terrible. There was other games where we weren't at our best. So yeah, it's been a really weird season. I don't think City have looked that good. I don't think when I watched Liverpool, I don't think Liverpool particularly looked that good. Chelsea, another team, don't particularly look good. United don't particularly look good. Spurs don't look good. Arsenal don't look great. It's a weird league this year. I don't watch anyone in this league and think, wow, that is the team that are going to be champion. I just don't really see it. They should just.
I mean, you could make it. I mean, it seems to be everywhere, really. I mean, so many. You know, you look at the league, Serie A, La Liga, someone like even the Champions League. You're like, Bayern have issues. PSG, PSG look okay, fine. Madrid. So even in the Champions League, you're like, when I'm thinking who are the favorites, it still predominantly probably comes to City. I think Liverpool, Chelsea. Maybe you could throw PSG in there as the top four currently.
I thought Liverpool would win the Champions League this year. But I don't know if they'll do it if they're going for the title as well, because it's a lot of games to win. And I know in the Champions League you don't need to win every game, like they will need to in the Premier League probably, but it's a lot to go for at the same time. So it's whether they can do that, because last season we were in all 4 competitions till I think April or whenever it was when we went out the FA Cup. And I think by that Champions League final, we were so burnt out. We didn't even turn up. Like it was that bad. So I think if Liverpool go for everything, that's when they'll probably struggle to win everything. I think if they pick, okay, we're going to go for the league and we're going to go for the FA Cup or whatever it is, they're more likely to win both than if they say that we're going to go for all 3. Because that's what we did. We ended up winning 2 out of 4 when really if we'd have gone for 3 instead of 4, we might have won. I don't know.
Everyone was gunning that you weren't going to win a treble that season.
I know.
But now my worst fears have come to realize, because I'm like, well, hang on a minute, Liverpool could win it, and that's even City winning a treble is one thing. Liverpool winning a treble is something entirely, and that can't happen. It just can't, So it is what it is. SSB has a question for you. Actually, he says, how will the Ruben Diaz injury affect Manchester City? Or will it?
I mean, obviously he's been solid for us. Strangely, it's John Stones who actually has the best record out of all our defenders this season. So when he's played, we've not conceded many goals. Laporte is a difficult one because Laporte will get you a winner in a game, but then he will also make a big mistake and you lose the game because he makes that one mistake. So Laporte, as much as I love him, and I think he's probably our best defender in terms of talent, like how good he is, but he can be a little bit dodgy at times. like against Crystal Palace, because he didn't need to get himself sent off. He got himself sent off, and then, even if we'd been 2-0 down at that time when he got, he didn't get sent off and they score. Even if they score 2, we can still get back into that game. We're at home. We've got a whole half to get back into it. But because we went down to 10 men, we just couldn't get back into the game. So I think, I'm a little bit, I don't know. I think Laporte is the type that would score in a derby more so than Ruben Diaz. Or it's whether he's going to make mistakes. I don't know. Ruben Diaz is a little bit more calm in situations. So it's going to affect us. Some City fans are saying it's handed the title, it's swung the title more into Liverpool's favour.
Okay, that's interesting.
But I don't know. I think Ruben Diaz is a leader. So it's whether there's other leaders on the pitch, because Stones and Laporte are both not leaders. And I think in the back 2, you need a leader and another player. And we haven't actually got a leader at the back now. So that worries me a little bit. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Generally I trust them, but we're gonna have to see. And yeah, Diaz and Stones have a bromance, and Diaz and Laporte don't, and that's why Diaz and Stones is better than Diaz and Laporte, even though Diaz and Laporte are our best defenders on paper. So you're right, Steffi.
I mean, I still remember that City game. I'm fairly sure it was Laporte. I don't know what, when I think it was at Anfield, and I just remember Salah doing. I don't know what Salah did to Laporte there, but I think he forgot who he was after that. It was bad. I know Maguire's I hope Maguire's one of the worst defenders in the Premier League right now, but the way that I saw that, even I had to go. That was a bit dirty. It was a bit dirty.
Yeah. Do you know what it is? It's like, that's the thing with centre backs. Like, people think if you take the 2 best centre backs in the world and put them together, it would be the best defence. But that's not necessarily how it works when it comes to centre backs. Like, I think you need 2 people. One's a leader, one's not. The one that's not a leader is able to take direction. So that's why Stones works so well with Diaz, because Stones is not like a Laporte where he's very sure of himself and he's like, I'm a great defender. He kind of just does what he's told and it works. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes with 2 defenders that are both very like, I'm the best in my position, it doesn't always work. And I think that's why John Stones and Diaz are what won us the league last year. It was their partnership. It wasn't Laporte. As much as I love Laporte, it wasn't him. He comes in and he helps out. He definitely helps out going forward. He scores goals. Apparently Laporte is the most, them charts where it says whose passes lead to goals and stuff like that. Like, Laporte is high up on that chart. So he's, in terms of how we play and going forward, Laporte is very important for us. But defensively, it's definitely Stones and Diaz. So we'll see.
Right. Let's quickly move on to City starting 11. I'm going to stop share screen for 2 seconds, and I'm going to bring the formation generator up. Now, which one do I have up here? Not that one. This one. Okay. Manchester City. So presumably you're going to play 4-3-3?
Yeah.
Is that correct? Okay.
It's always 4-3-3.
It's always 4-3-3.
Well, usually. Until Pep plays some crazy formation we've never seen before, 3 at the back.
In the Champions League, usually.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, damn.
He's going to play a diamond, and you're like, we've never played this
season. You can't even predict who Pep's going to play, so you just have to guess and hope for the best. Because it's
Well, presumably he's not going to change his goalkeeper, so Edison will obviously be in goal.
Yeah, Edison. That's one person you can predict. So yeah, Edison in goal. At the back will be Stones and Laporte, because Diaz is out.
And left back will be.
So it's going to be. Do you know what? I would have said Walker and Cancelo, but actually, since that Spurs game, he dropped Walker, so it could well be Zinchenko. But I'm going to say Cancelo on the left and Stones on the right. But
And Walker on the,
I
right.
don't know if he's Walker on the right.
Are you thinking he may play
He
Zinchenko?
might play Zinchenko and Cancelo, but I don't know. DM's going to be Rodri, I'd assume. I want him to play our best midfield, but he won't. So annoying. I just want him to play Bernardo and Gundogan with Rodri, but he won't. He'll play De Bruyne and he'll play Gundogan.
Oh, do you think De Bruyne should be dropped then? You don't think De Bruyne should start?
No, I just think it's so weird because our best midfield doesn't have him in it. I would actually play him false 9. That's what I would do, but he won't do it. So annoying. So he'll play De Bruyne, Rodri. I think he'll play. Is he going to play Bernardo in the middle?
Play Bernardo there, would he?
He's been playing Bernardo false 9 or Foden and playing Bernardo on the wing. So I think he'll put Gundogan there. I think he'll go Gundogan. Even though I don't really know. Pep keeps changing it. And then he keeps putting Bernardo Silva out wide.
Which I find strange because I find he's better playing through the middle. So, but
oh my God, yeah, 100 times better. The thing is, the reason why City have been struggling recently is because we changed how we play. We changed the players. We put Bernardo out wide. That's why we're struggling. So he'll put Bernardo. For some reason, he keeps dropping Mahrez. I think he'll play Bernardo and Sterling. And I think he'll drop Mahrez, even though Mahrez is our top scorer. But I think that's what he'll do.
So he'll play Bernardo on the right.
Yeah.
And then he'll play Sterling on the left.
Even though he's better on the right.
And then he'll play. You think? But, and then he'll play Foden.
And then he'll play Foden false 9.
Oh, okay.
That's what he'll do. I don't think he should. I think he should play Mahrez because Mahrez has been our best player. And I think he should put Bernardo Silva in the middle, put De Bruyne up front, false 9, put Foden on one side, and Mahrez on the other. That's what I would do. But actually, to be fair to Sterling, he has been playing well, even when he's not been scoring. But I don't know. I honestly, Pep is the hardest person to predict because you just don't know what he's going to do.
I mean, against this United team, S&B is a good point because as we go to what I think the United is saying, Pep, Edwin says Pep is the thinking man. I love when he overthinks it and says Pep's going to press the hell out of the United team. And I don't disagree. But for some reason, I'll get the what I think the United starting 11 is going to be before we go into the combined 11. I'll get that. There we go. I think that Ralph will probably go back to a 4-2-2. I don't want him to, but I suspect that he will. And this is especially true now that Cavani's back.
Yeah.
What we have seen from Ralph's football, is that like he wants to press early. Rashford obviously has not really been in form for a while. I'm fairly sure that if we go for the players, De Gea is obviously going to be in goal. That's much like Edison's a non-starter. The centre back issue is going to be interesting. He did drop Maguire in the previous game, and I'm gonna have faith that he's probably gonna go with Varane and Lindelof as the centre backs.
He should.
He starts Maguire. I mean, I don't know what we can do really. I really don't because he's not been good enough. Left back, to be honest, I would start Telles over Shaw, but for some reason he goes with Shaw, so I think Shaw will start. Right back is interesting. Because it was Dallo, and then he has started to use Wan-Bissaka a bit to give him game time.
I think it'll be Wan-Bissaka. I think he was handling Sterling last time, so we'll probably go off that.
if he's wanting to press, a part of me just thinks that he's probably going to go with. In fact, actually, no, I'll agree. I think let's say he'll go with Wan-Bissaka to press. McTominay and Fred are coming in. That's what can I say? It's going to be McFred. Which, let's be real, they have a good record against City, at the Etihad. When we play them there, we seem to win for some reason. So I would suspect that it's going to be Fred and McTominay here. He's gonna probably drop Pogba.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Pogba plays well against City, though. Pogba and Rashford play well against City. They're probably your two best players against City. Even though they're not playing well. Pogba's playing well, but even though Rashford's not playing well, he'll definitely be up for a derby.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think there's definitely going to be. I definitely see Rashford and Pogba as the kind of. This is how I think he will start, and then potentially in the second half for an impact, because he usually goes, especially when we're chasing the game, from a 4-2-2 to a 4-2-4. But bringing on Rashford as an extra attacker, and he probably, for example, would take off Fred and play Pogba where Fred is, and so you play McTominay and Pogba in that situation. I think ahead he's going to probably play Bruno and Sancho. Sancho on the right. And then up top, he will play Cavani and Ronaldo. That's. I don't necessarily think that this is the right formation. But United definitely have missed Cavani. There's one thing that whatever people say about Ronaldo, and I told us Ronaldo has not worked, but I think people actually forget that Ronaldo has always needed almost like a support striker. Even at Madrid, Benzema was a support striker. So he was never for me a number. He was never number 9 in that sense. So I think that when Cavani comes back, Cavani helps in the role of potentially being a support striker. And I think Ronaldo this season has had his best games when Cavani has played.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's what I suspect the team will be. Eddie says, I also disagree, bro. We've seen how open his team is 4-2-2. I think we may see a Spurs copy compact 5-4-1 and count and break Beg's heart. Possibly. I don't necessarily disagree with that. It's just maybe just because I haven't seen that from Ralph yet against anyone where we set up to counter attack against big teams. So, but yeah, I don't disagree with that. I mean, is there anyone in this team that you'd be particularly concerned about going into this derby?
I think Cavani, definitely. Ronaldo's going to want to score against us. I think if I saw that team, then I'd be a little bit happy because obviously the big ones against us are Pogba and Rashford. They're the two that every time they play against City, they turn up. From your point of view, Bernardo Silva, I think it is, who has been playing well against you recently. Gundogan loves the derby as well. So you tend to get players that are good in them sort of games. So I think, obviously Ronaldo is Ronaldo. As bad as he can be, he's still Ronaldo. He can still score goals. So yeah, I'd say your attack. Who's there? Sancho. Bruno plays well against us.
Elanga will be.
Sancho's got a point to prove because he's going to want to show Pep, you should have kept me. So them two as well. Even though Bruno's not the best player in the world, he still gets goals and assists. So yeah, it is what it is. Fred, I actually quite like Fred, to be honest. I actually think he's quite good. McTominay, he likes a passion strike, so he'll be up for the derby.
Yeah.
Defensively, De Gea has been really good this season. So City haven't been clinical. So that's not going to be fun either. So yeah, I don't know. We're going to have to see the first game. Obviously, the first derby this season, City played really, really, really well. but it's just at home. It's a weird one because United have been getting the better of us at the Etihad, but a lot of them games, it's been like there's not been as much at stake as there is now. Like, so the last time we played, yeah, we could have won the league, but we knew we were going to win the league anyway. It just delayed it slightly. So that, even though, yeah, we should have won it, it wasn't urgent. And then there was another one where we were already 2-0 up in the cup. So when you beat us 1-0, it didn't really matter. Because even if you scored 2, it would have gone to extra time. So we didn't really have to win that game. So this is the first one in a while where we really need to win this.
To win the game, yeah.
So I don't know. I would expect the players to turn up because we need to win it. But what I've seen in the last couple of weeks doesn't fill me with that confidence. Because I expected City to be more professional going into this run of games, and they just look like they don't care. So I don't know.
We will see. We will see. Let's just round things up with our combined 11. So I've got to head off in about 10 minutes. I'm just all over the place today. It's really not fun. Right. Okay. So, and obviously for those who are watching in chat, we want your feedback as well. And obviously let us know in the comments who your favorite combined 11 is. I think this is actually going to be very, very quick. So, or maybe not, but I suspect it's going to be fairly quick. In goal, is there a debate for goal or?
Who would you go with?
I mean, I'm only going to say De Gea because I just think that like United are probably not going to get anyone else in here. So that's really the only, and maybe one other position. Oh, so what formation playing? We'll play 4-3-3 because United played that. That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
So play 4-3-3. And obviously the rules of the rules.
I mean, like I think Ederson this season has been better than he has been in previous seasons, but I still wouldn't mind De Gea because I think De Gea is the whole reason why you're in a top 4 battle and not a mid-table scrap, to be honest. So yeah, you can put De Gea in. He's been really good this season.
Let's put De Gea in here. Okay.
Yeah, Edison's a weird one because Ederson is like actually usually people say he wins the Golden Glove because City have so much possession that people don't have as many chances and our defense is competent and stuff like that. But actually this season he's actually had to earn his glove. So if he wins that Golden Glove, he actually deserves it because he's actually had to earn it in games where we've struggled a little bit. So yeah, hopefully he wins it again.
That's fair. Left back. I mean,
Cancelo's been playing there, so I'd say Cancelo.
There we go. None of our left backs have been good enough. That's defense. Really, I mean, I can put Varane and Lindelof. I think Lindelof has actually had a decent season. Actually, I've actually been
Lindelof's been all right.
Varane, when he's fit, has actually been okay in spells.
Yeah.
I definitely, obviously, Diaz is injured, so he can't be in a combined 11.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it'll be Laporte. It'll be between Laporte and Stones.
Yeah.
Do you think it should be both of them, or do you think United have a shot at a defender coming in there?
Well, it's difficult because Stones he's not played as much, but when he's played, he's been better. But I'd say over the season, probably Laporte because Laporte's played a lot more and he's actually played quite well.
Okay.
Maybe Laporte and Lindelof, to be honest. Don't want to make it too City.
Yeah, no, you know what? I think a Laporte and Lindelof thing was, I know people are going to say Varane, but to be fair to Lindelof, he's been fit more than all other defenders, and he's actually generally been.
He's been all right, yeah. Okay. He's been good.
Right back.
It's
definitely not a United right back. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, he's got to be Walker then, but I don't know.
It's that he's definitely had a better season than Dallas.
Yeah. You know what? To be fair, he was all right. It's just recently he's fallen off a cliff, but he was all right before that. Number 6, it has to be Rodri. Rodri has had a really good season, up until the Everton game. That's the first game that I've seen. Was it the Everton game or the Spurs game Might have been the Spurs game. He was off. He's been great this season, but that game, he was off. Really bad.
It's obviously, Matic is our only holding DM. Fred and McTominay can't do that solo role. So it's no debate there. I don't know who else even to put in this midfield. I mean, okay, Pogba, but Pogba has been injured for quite a bit of time and he just come back.
Yeah.
Bruno's hasn't had a great season. I mean, you could give this, you could make this the City midfield. I mean, you said you were going to put Bernardo Silva. You think
I'd definitely put Bernardo in the middle because that's where he has been our best player this season, playing in the midfield. So I'd definitely say him. And then
Gundogan.
I'm just trying to think. Gundogan. De Bruyne has been a weird one this season. Like sometimes he's really good and sometimes he's not as good. So maybe Gundogan. Maybe put him in there.
Okay.
If we're not gonna
put, I know
leave Bruno and thingy out.
I know there are United fans in the chat watching this, but like, there's no way any of our midfielders deserve to be in this starting 11 right now. It's just,
I think on the right's definitely got to be Mahrez because he's just our top scorer. He's been really, really good.
Yep.
So yeah,
I love Sancho.
But, you can put Sancho on the other side.
You can put you could put
who plays, wait, I'm just trying to think. Who plays on your left?
Really, the only options are Sancho and Elanga in terms of availability. You could make a stretch for Cavani, as he's done it a few times, as almost like he maybe comes on the left as a support striker for Ronaldo coming inside support. But
I don't want it to be too City, or I would have said Foden and then put a United player up front, but it's a bit too City. It's a bit too City, so you're gonna have to be a United player.
It's City for a reason because you're where you are and where we've just. I'm being objective. I've been objective, guys. For those who are watching, I've been objective. We've been, we've been bad. If Pogba played all season, probably he would have. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
But he's just been injured, unfortunately. So
it's the same with Stones. I think Stones would have got in if he'd been there all season, but he hasn't. So
exactly. I'll put Sancho there on the left then because I think he's bored, and then you play
up front. We'll put Delap. He's been injured a lot. Actually.
Delap.
I'm hoping next season I'm saying it's Haaland. Put Haaland in, but
yes, that would be
probably going to be put in bloody Delap because it ain't going to be. Oh my gosh! Or maybe Alvarez. Maybe if we actually get him, I don't know.
Well, I mean, just put Foden up there. I mean, well.
Do you know what? If you're doing a combined 11, I think you'd put Ronaldo. I actually think Cavani is actually the more dangerous.
Yeah.
When you're in a game, but it's got to be Ronaldo.
Yeah. Cavani for me is a better number 9 than Ronaldo in terms of his positioning. And even
he's more of a threat, definitely.
Yeah. Ronaldo, but the thing is, I used to think Ronaldo's finishing was better. But now even Ronaldo's finishing is off, so there is a case that Cavani is just too injury prone. He's just come back, so based on that alone, we'll probably put Ronaldo here. We'll put Ronaldo here.
I don't want to make it. I hate combined 11s where it's like all of the team and then one player. It's just like it's not. I don't know.
It's not a proper combined 11, but with how United have been this season, like it's just to be fair, other than De Gea, none of United players can make it into the combined 11 over the course.
Yeah, if you're talking the whole season, I think. But it's like Foden. Like Foden's had a good season, but I obviously can't put him in over Ronaldo. Well, you could, but I'm not going to put him in, especially when he's not a striker. If he was a striker, then I would put him in. But because he's not a striker, I don't really think you can put someone that's not. It's kind of like when I've done combined 11s in the past, I've always given the opposition the left back We had Zinchenko, and Zinchenko is not a left back. So even though he was solid and he's a good player, he's not a left back. So I'm not gonna do a combined 11 with a West Ham fan and be like, it's Zinchenko when they've got an actual left back. So that's why I wouldn't put Foden up front. It's not because I don't think he's had a good season, because I think he has. He's been good this season.
Fair, guys. So just a few comments left. Michael says, "Big up, RDS, big game, top 4 entitled race." And that is fair, buddy. So I'll just get that up there. Guys, thank you so much for watching our show. Jan, I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. What is your even before we get, what are the predictions? What are even your predictions for this? What's your score prediction?
If we win, I think it'll be 2-1. I think it'll be a close one. But if inevitably we don't win, I think it could be 2-0 United. Because I think if we score, we'll probably win. If we don't score, then we'll be pushing for a goal, and you'll probably get a second near the end. So, yeah, I think the worst result is actually a draw. You know, when people say 1-1, that doesn't do United or City any favours.
No, exactly.
It just puts Liverpool in a much better position than they were, because they'll see it as they drop points still. Yeah, I don't know.
Exactly. It is almost like a must-win game for both teams.
Yeah.
But you know,
I mean, I hate draws when you need to win. It annoys me.
I never predict United win.
I think City. It depends which City turn up. If the City of the past 2-3 weeks turns up, United will win. If the actual City that are in a title race turn up, we'll win.
Eddie's saying you can't have two predictions, Jan. You've got to give your actual. What is your de facto? Are you saying
right now? I think United are more likely to win than City. Right now, as annoying as it is, that's what I think.
so your score prediction is what, 2-0 to United then?
Possibly. Oh God. I hope not. I hope not. I can't be bothered, you know. I can't. Marcus Rashford, Pogba, they don't want to turn up till they play Man City, and then they turn up. It's so annoying. Ugh.
It's annoying, but as for those who are watching this channel for the first time and doing a preview of Jan, usually what tends to happen, the pattern of the show is that when Jan is not confident of City beating United, City actually destroys fairly comfortably. But when Jan is confident, coming bare-chested, being like, yes, we're going to spank these men, we're so in form, they lose. So this is kind of Jan's version of what we call reverse psychology. It's reverse.
If you saw me after the Everton game, I was like, look, I ain't even. Normally, I'll be like, great win, massive 3-point. Nah, like I was so angry. I was like, that is disgraceful. Like, how are you going to play like that? Because, you know what I mean? You can't be in a title race and you're playing like you don't care. Like, acting like they just stayed up and they've got safety and they're on 45 points. Like, nah, you're in a title race. Do you know what I mean? Like, the way it is, this title race, if we lose 3 games, right? So say we lose to Liverpool, we lose to United, and we lose to Palace, say, for example, Chelsea could catch us. Like, it's not even like we're clear. Like, last season, we were so far clear of everyone else that the only teams that could have caught us was Man United, and Man United were inconsistent.
Yeah.
Liverpool are not inconsistent. So this season, if we fuck it up, we could fuck it up all the way. So they need to focus. And you know, if we go out there, we give it our all, and United just happen to beat us or they get jammy or whatever, then I'll say fair enough. But the way we played against Everton, you know, if they'd have won, they would have deserved to win. So yeah, it's not great. Not great at all.
Fair enough, Jan. Appreciate you for coming on. Like, thank you so much, guys. Make sure that you follow Jan. Where can they find you on Twitter, by any chance, just in case?
Yeah, it's Jan City on Twitter. But yeah, I don't really do YouTube anymore, so.
Yeah, I know. I'm not seeing the video come, but I think it's because it's life, isn't it? We get busy and stuff like that.
Yeah, never do it anymore.
The thing. So, but thanks again for coming on, Jan. Thanks
you.
again for those who are watching. Really appreciate it. Take care, everyone, and cheers.
Thanks. Bye.